Oh, pardon me. How's it all going? I've started a little bit early. I'm sure you guys will catch up. I'm just going to turn the sound off. There we go. Let's catch up again. There we go. Right. Let's start a little bit early. As you see, I've got some work to do. So this is part 3, I believe, this little batch of videos we're doing. We're trying to catch up and finish the ecorcheurs retinue that was on the Kickstarter. So these 4, as you can see, are pretty much, they're done. They're lacquered. These 2 are painted, but we're waiting for shields. So I started doing the shield. I tried to do these guys earlier, run out of time, so I'm still doing now. So onto the 3rd layer of blue. So I thought I'd just crack on, see how much of these bad boys we can get on. I was hoping to, like I said last week, get on to just do the coats of arms, but we'll see what happens. So royal blue, and lots of medium. I've done 2 layers of blue on this guy already, so this is like the highlight blue. So we're just gonna angle our brush from the top, so we leave the most paint at the top of the shield. Show you again on this one. So add the blue. Leave most of the paint at the top of the shield. Just so we can get going. Hopefully when you guys arrive. Again, we won't go right up against the line, we're coming inside that line. Okay. So I've kept the paint base kind of basic, non-generic kind of thing, or generics, not generic, a generic kind of thing. So these guys will be able to be used. Just a bit of brown on that one. So this is our highlight blue. So we're just going up the peaks. As you see, I've done 2 layers of blue already. Get us ahead. Yeah, I thought I might as well just start and let you guys catch up as you go along. Pass over on these layers where looking for the areas that are most in the light, as it were, for the lighter colours. Just those top edges. Rump. Is it rump? Or is it a flank? I think this is the flank down here, isn't it? Rumps there. In. So for the high points. yes. So this will be the last week doing the ecorcheurs ones. So hopefully we should get the majority of it painted tonight. It's been so busy at the Grove's Nest. I managed to get it completely done. I don't want to rush these because they've got to tie in with those ones, so they've got to be as good. Just leaving the valleys and hitting them peaks. So I've got a camera in about the right place at last. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, it's been busy, 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 my friend. I'm trying to catch up mad on the commissions. I think your space guy ones are on the pile next. Yeah, warpath ones. Yeah, so just trying to get everything sorted out. Yeah. Trying to get ahead on the commission so I can get my head into organising some organised games, you know, and to organise maybe a Saturday, Sunday, or even just a Saturday game. I've done the shields. Let's just. Yeah, I didn't want to start another complete page, and that sort of ties it in nicely with the Pyrich paints. So yeah, it just gives people another avenue to chat, really. And I think I can do events through that as well, to invite people. So yeah. It definitely feels like an extension of this Paintalong, doesn't it? It's sort of it was nice to hear some of the comments on the people meeting me at shows and stuff, having a chat about stuff. It's nice. Evening cubes. Yeah, I was back painting, trying to get it ready for the fancy pants bit, so I thought I'd just crack on, start a little bit early. The last commission took a little bit longer than I thought it would, so I was hoping to get that finished yesterday, and I had 2 more miniatures to paint this morning. and then the electricity in people wanting me to go and do a reading, and that's, oh, they're a pain. We won't start there though. This is a painty channel. Now it's starting to rain outside. Yeah, that's a good thing that people can post there, and they can ask me if the table's free, or can they come down and use the table for a game, or is there any D&D going on? So I think as time goes on, it will become more useful. Right, so that's the green. Let's go for stand up and grab the green. Take my jacket off because the paint room's nicely warmed up now. This next one is green skin. It's quite a jump up in the lightness of the greens, so we need to put quite a bit of medium in there. Helps it blend, because obviously lets it become a little bit translucent. Let me just do a little bit across the top of there. I'll do about the top third of the shield. There we go. Top edge. Not going right into the middle. Okay. Then we've got to this guy. So we've done the first two layers of green. So now we're just doing a highlight. It's a bit too watery there. There was one that had, that was that one. I've still got some of the brown. Nice. Yeah. A bit more medium into that green. And we just want to work those highlight areas. And where that's quite a thin green. It will kind of blend by showing the green underneath it through, if you know what I mean. Evening, Ben. Yeah. Yeah, I had a customer messaged me this afternoon, sent me a picture of the pre-slaughter Lord of Nazgul on a horse, and said, "Have you got one of these in your collection? I want it for my evil army." I'm sure I didn't use that excited little voice, but I did. So I went and checked into the crow's nest blisters. So I thought, yeah, I've got one of those. I had 2 of them, and also had the full set with him mounted and dismounted. And I thought, how cool is that? How much would I have liked that when I was looking around for shops you could actually message somewhere to find out if they got a miniature that went out of production in, what, 1990 something, or 1980. Yeah, I've got 2 of those on the shelf. Yep. Luckily, I've left the metal ones on here rather than gone for the steel ones, These 2 tend to bend. But I've had some customers that, you swap them for the... It's like when you do a pipe block. Darren at Griffin Beast has got a story about that. Even Artemis. He was packing up a load of these type of lances. Yeah, he was packing them up. So what he'd done is he'd jabbed them all into the arm of his armchair. Yeah, that end down, so he knew the pointy bit was. And he put them all into the arm of his armchair while he's watching TV, so he could pull out so many at a time and bag them up. And apparently he went out to make a cup of tea at a pointed tea break in the film, and came back, jumped up to land in his armchair, and stabbed all of them into his arm. Yeah. So if you do use those, be very careful with them, guys. I always that to people at shows when I put them on the stand. You get people leaning in to have a closer look at the miniature, and I say, careful, you can have your eye out. They always go, oh, yeah. No, you really will. Yeah, I don't know how many actually went into his arm, but apparently there was a multitude of them. Hence, he doesn't like them. Yeah, isn't acupuncture supposed to help, though? Isn't it wargaming and torture you're actually describing there, Ben? There's a fine line between wargaming and torture. So yeah, we'll just keep that medium going in there. Help this blend. Yeah, so that's good. I hope everyone's had a good week. Is everyone busy? There'll be something to add to an article one day. You'll remember this conversation, Ben. Yeah, we're just hitting those highlights, staying on the peaks, staying out of the troughs or the valleys. Peaks and valleys, isn't it? It's very Welsh, very Walish. My youngest boy went to Wales on holiday. a very grumpy Welsh lady in a shop over getting the bacon. She spoke funny. Never heard a Welsh person before. And he went, "Are you Walish?" And she went, "No, it's Welsh." She had a right go at him. He was only about, he was 6, 7. Right upset him. She was a proper Welsh dragon. Nice. Okay. So blue. I'm thinking of going one more. Pushing one more highlight onto the blues just to make it pink. We're going to crystal blue. That's close enough, Ben, isn't it? That's a foot in the door, my friend. Well, to be honest, Warhammer's old enough to be historical now as well, isn't it? Is it 50 years? So technically, I think I could argue that point. So this light blue would just go around the top of the shield. Maybe just a little smidgen of it coming down. There we go. When he found out you paint your miniatures, mate, you'll soon find out if he needs any miniatures painting. The gods of war will look strongly upon that, my friend. Okay. We're going to keep that medium flying in. I'm going to only hit down the center. Oh, pardon-moi. Excusez-moi, s'il vous plaît. It's I was reading. I'd get White Dwarf delivered here, and War Games Illustrated and WSS, and I was reading through. It was last month or month before White Dwarf, and they've put a set of rules in there for chariot racing, and they look pretty good actually. So I thought I might have a chariot race league kind of thing at the crow's nest. You can have a leaderboard of charioteers. I thought about doing the same with the gladiators as well. We're using jugular. Also found the full tilt rules that they had as well, and I found the full tilt cardboard the other week. I think I mentioned that though. It's quite interesting. The commission I just finished was for the Trench Crusade. And, oh, these are interesting. I'm afraid they're not here, otherwise I've shown you. They've gone home to the packaging department. Postage and packing. So I was just concentrating then. Yeah, so I thought for something a bit different. Hopefully I'll have time to get it organised for next Friday. Is I thought I'd do some conversion miniatures for Trench Crusades using some front rank and some Griffin Beast stuff. So I'll nip down to Beast Towers and I thought that'd be quite cool. A good rummage around down there, see what we can come up with. Then do a video of doing the conversion, I suppose, and then do a video of painting them. It's really weird to sort of sit here and I'm busy painting. I keep coming up with all these ideas of what we should be doing on the gaming tables. Okay, so let's do some. So that's basically, we've got this red. So at the moment, I think it's got Wyvern Fury. So let's go up to Dragon Red. So yeah, because I use that wyvern as the base, so I can keep the paint thinned. I can I don't want to go right down into the valleys, but I can come down and just leave that dark in the valleys, if you know what I mean. As you see, because it's going on quite thin, I get all that purple through anyway. So what I say is thin that paint with that medium. See there, see how that's darker red than that one. That's because I grabbed a bit of pigment there without thinning it. So it almost goes red instantly. That's not what we want. We want to slowly, almost like, what's it called, filtering? Shame Karen would have told us. I think on the canvas they call it, on watercolours, it filtering. I think on miniatures people, it's more of a glaze than a layer. I suppose it's somewhere in between because I'm not quite, my paint's not quite thin enough to be a glaze. Yeah. See all that one red's enough. Yeah, I think I got that one earlier. So let's grab some pure red. Put some medium in there. I'm going to hit a lot on that top edge. Yep. I'm looking for just those areas that there's a bit too much moisture in my brush then, so I just want to drop a little bit of paint off of it. Because I'm using the medium though, it's still very controllable. So just use that medium. Stay on those peaks, don't go in those valleys. I just eyeballed it a little bit there and just look at it and think, I just want it a bit brighter than that. So now you want to do the horse furniture. Is it horse furniture? Something like that. So grab our Brigadine Brown. Oh, that's sounded a bit empty. They tend to clog up a bit more when they get a bit empty, don't they? Give it another shake. There we go. Okay. So these horses were quite dark brown, but seeing as this Brigadine Brown is the base coat for our leather, we're going to be highlighting it up from there, so that should work nicely for us. So you guys actually played any Trench Crusade? That's right, when it's first kind of done a Kickstarter for it, didn't it? For some of the models. I couldn't work out from the Kickstarter whether they were selling you models or the 3D PDF things to print them. I couldn't work it out. Yes. So have you tried the warpath rules out yet, Rich? Yeah, they're always usually pretty good. We played Dead Zone again the other day. Mm. I think in general they do. They seem to. Definitely the stuff that they write in house is always pretty reliable, isn't it? Give him a different coloured dots and stuff. I'm going to do a brown one there. Yarg. You do get that a bit with Mantic stuff, don't they? Yeah, here you go. Here is your miniatures. I mean, when they were first doing stuff, of course, some of the original miniatures were just a nightmare. Others are really good, but I think they've consistent. They've sort of the consistency out. I had to fit in a little jaunt to Heathrow and back as well to give some lift to the airport, taxi duties and all. So yeah, been quite busy this week. Not all of it's been busy at my paint desk either. But hey ho, I think we'll get there eventually. I think we should be able to go live on Pirate Plays as well now. Because when I tried to do it last week, it wouldn't let me. New YouTube rule apparently. It takes so many days to be able verified to go live. Even though the channel had been live for like over a year. So yeah, that's why I used the Pirate Paints one. But tomorrow morning when the shop, generally I do the shop work and start sorting out extra things and stuff. I do that on a Saturday, so let's use the reds, but we're going to use, instead of using on the purpley red, we're going to start on the dragon red. No, I think that's too many colours. Forgot it was half and half, so I'll just brush that out like that. I'm going to do his stuff in black. I'm going to do his in black as well. I think if you've got too many colours going on, sometimes you just need to keep it simple. Otherwise, you end up, it looks like a vomit. Blech. The eyeballs. And hoofs. Mm-mm-mm. Yes. What else has been going on this week? Not a lot. I think I've mentioned it all. Yeah, I think so. As you can see from this black, it's quite thinned out with I put medium into the pot with it. But this one is actually the Army Painter matte black. Just thinned out. Because black pigment's so strong, you can get away with putting quite a bit of medium in there. Which is quite cool. Because painting black can be some boring sometimes, you know. So one way is to thin it right out, do it over our usual zenithal undercoat. And that grey starts showing through and it makes it look like a worn out rock concert t-shirt. You know, you like that worn out grey. Yeah. There's a word on as you see, because it's thinned, it just runs off your brush a lot easier. It runs off your brush easier. A little bit more control about it. Anyone that's painted a long time ago and used enamels and have them drying in your brush, and you more have to scrub the paint onto the miniature. Well, if you want the opposite of that. The gentle pitter patter of rain on the crow's nest windows. Not really a lot to talk you through on those bits, guys. Pretty straightforward. Just painting the straps black, basically. I'm just looking at the other ones in the back and just making sure that they're going to fit in. So nothing too outrageously or, again, too samey as well. brings me to the next point, reference. So I'm technically using the ones I've painted for reference to the style I want to go from, but not exactly, if you know what I mean. How important reference pictures are. I mean, it's good if you're gonna paint something. The internet's a wonderful tool. We never used to have it. We used to look through books and magazines to work out the colours, etc., etc., etc. But now you've got a lovely, lovely point of reference. And again, as I said to you guys before, I love seeing people's paint miniatures, and that goes online as well. So if I get a miniature I want to paint, so I'd done a plague doctor earlier, and the actual company that did the miniature did have a paint example. So I always look at that first, because obviously a lot of my customers would say, oh, just as it is on the website. So I thought, well, it's giving me a bit of free reign now. So I will have a look at other miniatures, and then I'll have a look at real life, what they were in real life. Basically, any images you can find, really. But images reference is what I'm trying to say. Am I coming across, guys? Get yourself some pictures of what you're painting, whether they're in real life. I think you want a mixture. It's tempting just to paint it the same way as everyone else. That's cool. But if you can add something different to it, or when I decided for the Plague Doctor, obviously it's going to be mostly black stuff. There are other examples of people doing them different funky colours, but I thought, well, because I'm doing it for a customer, I better stay a bit middle of the road. But then I noticed a lot of the masks on them, people would paint it as bone, and I thought that looked very cool, so that's what I did. So rather than have it a big leather nose on it, or a long black nose on it, I went for bone, and it came out really cool. But it's only because I referenced it that I made that decision. All right, we're getting pictures of stuff that are just other people's ideas, but hey. There's nothing wrong with that. Anything that can inspire you to paint something differently is good. And then sometimes you just go off piste and just paint it however you want to. That's good fun as well. Let's get, so we're nearly to the point where we're going to start doing the fancy pants bits. Let's do the next layer of leather, which is a bootstrap brown. Let's just open my can of bootstrap brown. The paint's designed for painting bootstraps. Strange enough. Yeah, do you see the difference in the browns? So that's, and now they're going to be even more because we're going to. I like it. I like all the different browns that they've got. I did some monks a while back, and the temptation is just to whack some brown on them, or whack some wash on them, and they're done. But if you layer paint them with all different browns, it's stunning what comes, how cool they look. Well, a simple paint job becomes very complicated, but because it looks like a simple paint job, it I don't know, there's some magic about it. I'm just going to go back around and strengthen that up a little bit. There we go. He's not got brown. Just checking it. I didn't do his oh, pardon me, stirrupy things. There's an old forest not far from us in sort of Marlborough Way. It's called Savernake, and there's a big tree right on the road, as if you're heading towards kind of Salisbury, that road, and they call it the Fat Belly Oak. It's right next to the road. And a couple of years ago, they had to put a band around it because it was cracked. The trunk was cracking and all this sort of stuff. And it popped up on a history article I was reading earlier, and they're saying it's over 1,000 years old. This tree, amazing. So that'd been what, pre Battle of Hastings. So some people going to Battle of Hastings might have walked past that tree. They're saying it's one of the few oaks left in the country from the one of the original giant wild woods. There's a lot going on around that side of Wiltshire. You know, we've got Wayland Smithy, Silbury Hill, Avebury, obviously, West Paintalong Borough. Then you got later on, you got the English Civil War stuff. There was a battle down Wroughton. What was it called? Oh God, that was one of the Anglo-Saxon battles. Oh my word! But yeah, Swindon sat in the middle of all this lovely, lush history. It's great. There was a witch, a book as well. Something to do with some witches as well. Oh, I can't remember it. I'll have to try to get out. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. Scrap. Desert yellow. When you go down from Swindon to Avebury, heading for Devizes, you got that. There's the Edge Hill battle there. Site, which I always find quite amazing. Of course, you got all the chalk carvings as well. So it's about Swindon. I mean, people take the mickey out. So I mean, Swindon is a standing joke in the country, but in fairness, there's not many other parts of the country where you live. You sort of point your car in any particular direction going out of town. For sort of 5 minutes, you're in the countryside. You know what I mean? An interesting countryside. This is just our desert yellow. Oh, okay. When we were kids, we used to always go up to Wayland Smithy, which always made me walk along the Ridgeway. It's kind of a magical place to be walking along. Anyway, it's always a bit surreal. Going to the old Iron Age hill forts and stuff. Liddington and Barbary. But Wayland Smithy is just a strange place. I've not done his eyes yet. I think I've put something else. It's jumping focus again. Mm-hmm. I think we do. I don't know. You should have a red and blue lance. He's got a red and blue lance. I'll think about his lance for a second. Yeah, it's crazy when it's like when you go to Avebury and all the houses in the village are built of Saracen stone. That reminds me of I used to go down and visit my friend in Torquay, and there's a place called Kent Cavern. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's one of the oldest caves where they could prove people actually lived in Europe. And then you have like a guided tour around through the caverns, which is always kind of cool. And there's this bit, and you can see sort of the floor above, as it were. They're sort of saying, "Oh yeah, that was the Victorians when they were exploring place. They explored it by blowing it up with dynamite." That's how they did a lot of their excavation. Such a shame. What can you do? I'm going to do a blue and a red. But I might do it half and half. I don't know. Is that a thing? I don't think they would have been going to war with fancy painted lances, would they? I don't know. I thought once you've more like jousting. Cool. Yeah, there was an old brick factory just towards Oxford Road. That was like that. All the old brick buildings they left behind. Now all the old bricks they left behind as well. So you could actually throw bricks at bricks, which is kind of cool. when we used to do the live role playing, we used to come up to Kimber and is it Hawkstone was the other one, and they had houses and that carved into the sandstone. You guys probably know them much better than me, being Midlands way. One was, I think, Hawkstone. Is it Wolverhampton? Yeah. Apparently they've poshed it all up now, and it's kind of a very posh resort kind of thing. But we used to do live role playing around there and sleep in the caves and such like. They were all pretty derelict. We used to go to a transport cafe after the weekend because you'd live for 48 hours rough in the cave and shit, and then we'd go to the. I can always remember it was lovely. It was the Raven was the truck stop place. I know exactly where that was. They shot some of the film The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. There used to be like an archway that looked out over the edge of a cliff. We always ended up near that bit, and they did it for like a gateway in the film. There was one with a red stone, and the Hawkstone was a different site. I can't remember. Kimver's got a big tower in it as well, hasn't it? Like a big folly. I think it's been a long time. Right. I think I only did the base flesh on there. So let's go for agate skin. It doesn't look like I've done one the base. Hour and 20 minutes, so we're going all right. I'm just highlighting those faces out. So when you're highlighting the flesh, go down the middle of the nose, top of the cheekbones, bottom lip and chin. Nose, cheek, chin. Okay. Then we grab the white. We'll do the eyeballs. Sometimes you wonder what's happened at certain places. I was driving down the motorway yesterday and getting towards Reading. There's a hill called Burning Hill or something, and next to it is a place called Ash Common. You're thinking, There's a D&D story there, isn't there? There's something happened there. I'm just going to grab the Psycho brush. Hopefully, yeah, there we go. It's focused on my man. Just going to lock everything out. Yeah, we used to go to a lot of nice different sites when we did live role playing and just charge around like loonies, hitting each other with foamy swords, as you do. But some pretty terrific places. But Kimber and Hawkstone were two of my favourites. There was a couple of old sea forts as well we used to go to. There was one near, what was it? There was Harwich, proper sea fort. Used to be able to get into it all. And was there one? Well, not Western. Down that bit of coast somewhere. Oh, I can't remember the name of the place. There's a bloody holiday camp at the bottom. You go at the top of a big hill, and there's an old Second World War gun emplacement. Something Sands, Breen Sands. It was slowly falling to sea, and every time you went there was a bit less of it. Never occurred to us it might be a bit dodgy. But you used to be able to get underneath it as well, on all the old ammo bunkers, I suppose. And around the outside of it actually had a proper dry moat. It's that old sea fort or Kimber. I don't know if Harwich is still. I think they built on it. But I remember doing the 24-hour adventure there and waking up early in the morning and looking out over Harwich and watching ships coming in, and that was amazing. Okay. So they're ready now for fancy pants bits, I think. Oh, no, one more highlight onto that brown leather. Just hit my light, sorry about that, guys. We'll just be going to the highlights of the leather. So we're looking to hit the top edges. I had a little bit of medium, not too much. Yuck. That's what they used to say at Brixham every time I went to there. There was another place we really liked it when we were running one down in Marlborough. It was a disused railway line, and there was a tunnel. It must have been about quarter of a mile along this tunnel, all disused and stuff. Some great tales down there. We scared the hell out of some scouts. That was a... Well, the story goes. If you want to hear it, guys, I know this is a painting channel, but it's more of a social one tonight. Okay. So this long tunnel, and because it was an old tunnel, every so many feet there's a kind of a safety archway, isn't there? So you can stand back from the tracks, you don't get run over. So what we did is we thought, wow, that'd be cool if we have this like the mouth of hell, as it were, and we'll have all the monsters dressed up as skeletons and zombies and stuff hiding in these alcoves. And as the party comes along, they can jump out and scare them. Yeah. And what we did to make it look really scary is we had my very tall friend. We dressed him up as some sort of demon-y thing right at the other end of the tunnel. You could only just make out the other end of the tunnel. And he was quite tall, which was quite important. And at the other end of the tunnel, it had been like blocked with mud. So we stood him a couple of feet up there as well. So he looked absolutely huge, and we had in these black robes and a hood. So we kind of backlit him, so he looked all shadowy and against the top of the tunnel and stuff. And then what we did is we lit candles all the way down, pretty much in between all the arcades. And then we went along with petrol, because there was loads of breeze blocks, and we set fire to a load of breeze blocks. There was nothing else to burn. And yeah, and it just looked amazing. You looked down a quarter of an hour, it just looked a quarter of a mile of candles and flaming bricks, and at the other end, my friend Rick stood there looking about 8 foot tall in this black hooded thing. And we made this sword and coated it with foils, a big two-handed sword, and you've got this gel that we got from I can't remember, it was something to do with the BBC back then, and you could burn this stuff and it didn't burn underneath. So we had this flaming sword. So we thought we'd wait until the party turns up, because we've got a certain amount of time to use it. Well, it's amazing. And then obviously we could hear the people coming, so we set everything in motion, and we set off these rockets going towards Rick down the roof of the tunnel, these air bomb repeaters. Obviously, health and safety was our highest concern, and yeah, it looked amazing. And I thought, why aren't they coming in? Why aren't they attacking? And I went out, and there's like 20 scouts out there with a scoutmaster, thinking they just walked across some demon worshippers, so I had to explain what we were doing, which they found was amazing. And then the party was about 5 minutes behind them. So they said, "Can we watch?" So we sort of hid them away in some bushes so they could watch. Yeah, amazing. How to terrify a scout troop. Long story, guys. Okay, so let's go for ancient stone. Got some white to do on your shields. Oh, pardon me. Okay. So I think now we need to sort out what shields are for what thing, and then decide what fancy bits we want to do. Look at that. Hour, we've got half an hour. It looked amazing. My friend's brother used to work for BBC when they used to make. He worked on Blake Seven and Doctor Who and all that sort of stuff. So we could get. My friend had a black powder license, so we could use black powder and pyros and what have you. That was quite cool. Before I do that, let's do some gold. Because these two have got the gold touches on, these ones haven't, so we need to do that. Let's grab an old crazy brush. Let's make some more space. So it's looking for some. Yeah, so that'll be cool. Notice he's got some use that stone just to. It's got like a little. Is it a surcoat? No, surcoat's over top of it. Is it? What's the under one? What's the one? Is it Gavison or something? Yeah, it was crazy old days doing that. It was quite a laugh. I should have done a red shield for him, really. Let's change that to red shield, shall we? Because he's got blue. What's her face? Me. Chevron. Is that the right way? So let's start turning it that red. We can leave the blue. Yeah, I've done that quite thin paint, so I'm not worried about it not catching the first time. Keep it thin and you will win. There we go. I was doing the gold, wasn't I? So let's get back to that. Yeah, so I must say, I know this is the third video on these guys, and thanks for bearing with me, but they're just too nice a miniature to rush, and I wanted to share their journey with you guys. Yeah, that's what I was going to show you. I grabbed the sword point book. I painted the sword when Griffin Beasts were doing the sword point 100-Year War supplement. They, as ever, organisers the guys are, they needed the photographs done ASAP, and then they basically said, can you do these really quick? Can you do them nicely but quick? And I think it was there the video actually stemmed from, because I did the entire paint jobs for the book in 2 weeks. I mean, I stayed up very late at night. I was getting up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and painted all day and stayed there all night painting. And yeah, I got them done in 2 weeks. And I grabbed the book out earlier to show you guys, and I'm not sure I can show you on camera. It's not really. I'll try and get one of the pictures on in a minute. What I'm basically trying to say is we've a lot of the miniatures are the same miniatures as I'm painting at the moment, and to show you the difference in the speed of the paint jobs is quite makes a good point, you know what I mean? But also what I thought is, even though the ones I rush paint jobbed, because the miniatures are so nice, they still look really good. So I think there's a lesson to be learned there. I don't know what lesson you learn, but I suppose the takeaway from that is take a good look at your miniatures that you're gonna decide to paint. And but I was saying that, and just coming to my head was, I've had a few miniatures, and you've probably come across them yourselves. You pick them up, and you think, oh my god, why did I buy these? These look awful. And then you start paint, you get them undercoated and start painting them, and they look amazing. So it's not an exact science, what I'm saying. I just totally contradict what I just said. But I think in general, you pick up some image and you think, yeah, this is, you can see where you're going to go with it, if you know what I mean. You can see where the journey is going to take you. We'll try it and get at least one of the photographs up to show my point. Yeah, there was a bit of a mist brown spot there, and it's very dark brown, that, so I put a bit of black in there and a bit of brown, just blended it in. A bit of a wet blend. Let's see if I can grab the book. I did leave it by the side. Okay. Let's see which picture's going to work. Let's try the one on the back. So I painted all that in 2 weeks. And there's some more as well. There's some more infantry. But as you can see, I spent a bit of time on these guys, obviously, but this generic heraldry. I'm going to paint a bit better. Trying to find the ones that I know I painted a batch. all these were like 2 weeks. And I'll flick it now thinking, bloody hell. That's a better picture. Oh. Sorry. So you see, it's just like a single, that's probably just a couple of different blues, a couple of different yellows, or a brown and a yellow maybe. But you see what I mean? Even though they're simple paint jobs, because the miniatures are so good, when they're in that whole line out, they work on table. That's what they wanted. They wanted like a tabletop look to them. And then the leaders, they wanted them better. That's a good one. But what I was saying is, all right, they had the unbarded horses. Is the main difference. But as long as you pick out the faces, I think you're on a winner with these miniatures. That's a good book. Lots of pretty pictures. I'm biased. I based a lot of the. I think that was one of the pictures. That's not my painting. The Scots. These were, and they couldn't get decals in time, so I had to paint all the Palisades by hand. But yeah, quite tough getting them all onto those little bases. Sword point's quite interesting. I think it's too big a game for me to concentrate on, unfortunately. I love the look of it. I like going to the sword point shows there that Griffin Beast have and watching, because I enjoy that. But as for playing, I struggle getting my head around the big battles anymore. I get skirmish. So I've gone up to Dragon Red here. And then lovely, is it Henry? No, one of the kings. It's in my display cabinets. Oh no, it's not. Because Martin had it. The last sword point book, but they didn't release it in paper. They released it on downloadable from Amazon. Okay, so we've got the gold on there. Let's just check that no more missing bits. They should be cool. And literally, we just got to do the shields and any. We're coming up to 2 hours, so I think I'm going to have to video myself doing these and do a tutorial on it. I left myself a bit too much to do to get them all done tonight, I'm afraid, guys. I won't do another Friday on this. I'm wondering if I could get a video on Sunday afternoon or something. If I don't get a live one in, I'll record and upload one. There's absolutely no point in me starting doing the freehand after 2 hours of painting. I could do, but I'll be here another hour, I suppose. So I need to make some nice decisions. The horses, I need to do whatever I do on the shields on the horse. And then I've got to decide whether to do any more like chevrons or lines and stuff like that before I do any coats of arms. Yes, I think that'd be the sensible thing to do, guys. I think it's 2 hours long already. We could do the lances, can we? I'm thinking about leaving that blue up till there and then just do red around the top. And did they do lances like that? I don't know. This one's got to be blue and green, isn't it? I'll leave them as well. I'm trying to get extra out of a session I don't need to. That's I thought it just looked cool. Where I've got the red that side, I thought I'd have the blue up to kind of there, and then the red. It would kind of look pretty cool. I was thinking about doing a half and half that way. So it all looked blue from that side, then looked all red from that side. Now that would be a challenge. Should we go for that one? I seem to remember someone doing a quartered one like this. Now that would be amazingly hard on this size. Same thing as well when you do this concentrate stuff like this, it's hard to talk. That's what you really should try and do, is do a video and then do a voiceover. I'll ask my son how complicated that is. I see some other YouTubers do that. Yeah. So I could do like a just sit and do the freehand and actually I shall speak to him tomorrow. Sorry about the focus there, it's putting the focus all over the place, isn't it? This is the bit where you should technically, because you do get a mold line on that lance sometimes, and you've got to just scrape it off. So if you've got a mold line on there, right. So is he a blue knight or is he a red knight? He's going to look very cool when he's got his shield on as well, isn't he? Let's do the bright red on the shield. There we go. Okay. What a shame that I didn't get to finish him tonight. I'll see if anyone's so down the crow's nest in the morning. But I should really be working in the shop, packing some more. I'm still working through a load of undead at the moment. But if I get bored of doing them, I might come in there and finish some more of these. If I do that in the morning, I might dive online live Saturday morning, live from the crow's nest. Right. I don't know why the timer's reset. That's strange. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I think something's gone terribly wrong with the feed. It seems to have jammed up, and it seems to have restarted on this sheet. Anyway, if you do get to hear this, thank you for joining me. And if you do get to see this again, oh, yeah, I don't know if that all crashed out for you, but my live timer started again, so I don't know what's gone on there. All right, guys, well, thanks for joining me. And I will cut you all loose. And anyone thinking of coming to the crow's nest over the weekend? Oh, okay. I must have been down here then. I'll be opening at 10, strict 10:30, but I'll aim for 10. Saturday, I believe I've got a shot at 2. But I might do a late evening. I have to check on the day. Sunday, I should be doing 10 till about 4. And then I shall be in here all next week during the days. But let me know if you come in so I can be prepared to unlock the door. Right, yo. So thanks for joining me. If you see this and you haven't subscribed, liked, and hit the notification bell, please do that. And we'll see you all again soon. Have a good weekend, guys. Cheers.